How was your Christmas?
I don't know. It's in a few days. I'm sure it was fabulous. How about yours?
This is us trying to record so that works in the time scale. But yeah, we're recording this episode before Christmas.
Yeah.
But you'll be listening to it after Christmas. So we hope that you all had a good Christmas.
We hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And obviously it's that weird week when even the neurotypicals don't know what day it is. So God help us, people that don't actually know what day it is most of the time. We really don't know. So here we are. It is Tuesday, the 27th of December, the day after Boxing Day. And we hope that you've had a wonderful Christmas so far. With New Year's coming up, we thought it would be really fun for our last episode of the year to reflect on some of our favourite most ADHD things.
There have been some absolute
corkers.
Corkers, yeah. There really has been some of them. And the whole thing that we do with the most ADHD thing is to kind of, what's the word you use?
A shame eradicator.
Yes, that's it. It's a shame eradicator. If we can't laugh at some of these things that happen, then we'll cry.
And we do cry, and we have cried, and we will cry. So really, it's about camaraderie. We are all in this together, and if we can laugh at these things, and we can identify that other people are experiencing the same, then it takes away that shame and unites us even more as a community. So that's why we invented this concept. The now sometimes emulated concept. If anybody wants to use things that have come from our podcast, we would love you to credit us. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so yes. Thank you. And in all seriousness, thank you to everybody who has jumped on board with us with this, because it's such a fun thing. And honestly, we were going through all of these and we were both so tired, but reading them made us laugh so much that we both just did it all night.
We couldn't stop because they're just so good. There's some absolute gold in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through everything from parenting to RSD to what else have we got
here? So we've got household, relationships, time blindness and task paralysis, in the workplace, ADHD tax, appointments, medication, mobile phones, diagnosis, multitasking, adulting or not, carelessness, oops, I forgot, down the ADHD AF rabbit hole, festive. Oh, we've got a special one from our patrons. So Thank you very much to all of them for all of your support, because without the Patreon pledges, we wouldn't be able to keep making this podcast.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you. Then we've got festive. Then we've got our most favourite ADHDer who has given us so much gold this year and literally had us pissing ourselves laughing all night.
Yeah.
So that's one other person. And then finally, we will reveal our most ADHD thing of the year. So hold on tight for that one. We're not actually going to name anybody just because we're not sure of the legalities. So obviously we know that to put it on social media with your name next to it is a public space, but we haven't asked anybody's permission to include it in the podcast. So we're just going to keep everything anonymous for now. But going forward, we realised what a brilliant segment to the podcast this would be weekly. So alongside sharing our most ADHD thing of the week, we're also going to pick a couple from our socials each week to share on the podcast in the new year. So, yes, we look forward to sharing that with you.
Yeah, I'm just so excited about this episode. Let's go.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF, ADHD as females, the podcast.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and we are ADHD AF. Seriously. We are two neurodivergent neighbours who moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed disability. What are the chances?
Since discovering the enormous impact ADHD has had on our lives and the horrifying numbers of missing undiagnosed females, it has become our mission to make some serious noise.
We want to use our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others.
So join us for a chat, or as it's called up here in Aberdeen, a blether.
Trigger warning, we will be covering some really sensitive topics, so please do have a read of the description of each episode before listening.
It's important to note that we are not medical professionals. We're not therapists or coaches. We're not qualified to offer advice or support. What we will do is share our experiences alongside resources and information from professionals. We will talk over each other and we will go off topic and forget the point mid-sentence.
We are both assigned female at birth, which means that we can only speak from the experience of life as AFAB people. However, ADHD AF is an inclusive space. Whatever your gender, you are very welcome here.
Yes, you are.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF.
Okay, so we're going to start the most ADHD thing we have done, or you have done, parenting edition. First one we have here is tried to be more involved in daughter's school, messaged class to get thoughts, suggestions, etc. for a meeting, only to not provide a date for the meeting and forget to turn up myself. So I'm just going to organise this whole thing and then just not bother showing up.
Went to pick up my son from nursery, decided I'd go to the pharmacy on the way, then go and buy bread, got home, forgot the child at nursery.
And this is why I'm not a parent. Like, I can't look after myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, I've just realised I've been playing video games until 4:30 a.m. I have 4 blooming children under 8 years old and a missus who won't be too pleased that I forgot that time exists. Again.
Okay, so moving on to household. Stirred my sauté veggies with a carrot because I couldn't find and didn't want to wash a spoon.
I don't know if that's ridiculous or genius.
I know, it's both. It's both.
Put a biro on top of the electric hob, forgetting I'd literally just cooked dinner on it. Turns out biros make a nice spiral when they melt on a hob.
Oh, God.
Oh, that must have been a nightmare to clean.
I was watering my dad's garden whilst he was away and got distracted by an empty bird feeder. Left the hose pipe on for 2 days. I must have blown up his water meter and single-handedly caused a Midlands drought.
Oh, no. Left my hob on all night. Next night, left my fairy lights on all night.
Purchased new organisation things to use under my bathroom sink. Pulled out the system that was working fine, left it alongside my bedroom wall and placed the new organisational system under my sink. Haven't moved any of the products from the old system into the new, and I've been accessing the old system alongside my bedroom wall for the last 6 weeks. Clothes are all over the room, clean and dirty. Yeah, we know that one.
Oh, I have 64,000 unread emails. Finally found the TV remote after 2 months in a very organised tray in my underwear drawer and found some socks in the salad crisper. Not new socks, by the way.
I mean, aside from the socks, I'm hearing a lot of wins here because I definitely have a lot more than 64,000 unread emails. And she actually found the remote. So
I know, but dirty socks in the fridge,
okay, yeah.
Nah, I'm not up for that one.
I had 2 tasks to do, make coffee and start the dishwasher. I ended up filling up the soap dispenser in the dishwasher with coffee grounds.
Oh, that must have been a nightmare to clean.
Yeah.
I put the kettle in the dishwasher while trying to make a coffee.
This morning I re-washed my clothes as they had been washed in the machine for 3 days. I started making my breakfast but felt an urge to do numerous household tasks at the same time, including putting biscuits in the oven. Made them last night and left them out so they went soft. Sorting the fridge and doing some DIY, so needless to say, I burnt the biscuits and my breakfast went cold. This also included multiple times walking into rooms having no idea why I was there. Yep.
Most ADHD thing for me the last couple of weeks was being really super proud of myself for getting stuck into baking a cake first thing in the morning at the weekend, so it would be ready to have in time to have with a cup of tea in the afternoon. It's the little things, right? And getting it ready and in the oven by around 10:30, only to find that when it was time to take it out, I'd put it in the wrong bloody setting and I had grilled the bloody cake. You don't need to be an expert to know that's not how it's done. In true ADHD fashion, I just slapped a load of buttercream on it and ate it anyway.
Yes, I love
You're not
that.
going to waste it, right?
No, absolutely. I made soup and needed to blend it through. I was hungry, so even though my brain was like, don't blend it yet, it's too hot, All the other voices were like, nah, it's fine. And I was so excited by the thought of soup, so I put it in the blender, and after 15 seconds, it exploded all over my kitchen. Tasted great, though.
It's the little wins.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to move on to relationships. So the first one we have here, asked my partner if he was okay 10 times an hour because how dare he not have excessive facial expressions all of the time.
Seriously. I feel personally victimised by that one.
Yeah.
I'm so guilty of that. Are you sure you're all right, though?
Rest in bitch face.
No, but it's me asking. Are you sure you're all right? Is everything okay? You sure? Yeah, okay. So, had a 2-hour discussion with my boyfriend about how good I am at my various jobs, only to feel like I can't do shit when he asked me what the one top thing I'm good at could be. If I focus on only one thing, another imposter syndrome feeling attack, kept overthinking about it for a day and keeps over-apologising for no good reason.
My husband asked me to get him a towel and then got in the shower. I obviously agreed. 10 minutes later, I'm engrossed watching ADHD TikToks and he's standing in front of me naked and dripping wet. No towel. Whoops. I mean, is that a bad thing though, right?
Asked my partner how his day was, and then asked my partner how his day was.
And then the last one we have here, this is a relationship, but it's more of a mother-daughter relationship. Despite knowing for weeks what my daughter's due date was for the baby, being totally unprepared for granddaughter-minding duties when it came round. Yesterday, a work day, of course, and I was thinking in the morning that I should pack a bag and put it in the car, just in case. Bearing in mind my daughter was already 1.5 weeks overdue. So of course I have to dash straight from work to my daughter's, get lost despite knowing the route, arrive with no change of clothes, no nightwear, no toiletries, no food items, no phone charger, phone on 10%. Not good in the circumstances. Once my daughter and partner were on the way to the hospital, I decided to head to the local supermarket to buy food and hopefully have a phone charger cables because dying phone is stressing me out to the point where I'm watching every decreasing 1%. On the way to the supermarket, have a light bulb moment. The garage are far more likely to have cables than the supermarket. Go to the garage and yes, hallelujah, they have the cable I need. Totally forget about the supermarket and food. Get back to my daughter's, realise I still have no food. Go to the corner shop and buy wine.
That's the best solution.
Absolutely.
So time blindness and task paralysis. Getting in the shower at 4:17, knowing I had to be at an appointment at 4:20, but fully believing I had enough time.
Every day. I had a scheduled phone call at 4 p.m. Couldn't focus on anything before that. Waste of a day.
Yeah, totally know that one. Obsessing over getting an email to a potential new job just right. Writing hundreds of notes about it, drafting it, getting friends to check it over. Basically anything apart from actually doing the thing.
Have planned my up-and-coming wedding a year away, down to the intricate details, but can't set up my direct debit for council tax.
Yeah. Constantly adding to my unsaved open Word files and daily clicking save for later, only never to save and knowing I'm never actually going to do anything about it, but feeling slightly stressed every day I log on. I have that.
Yeah.
So literally, it's just this constant stream of thoughts, and I put it in the notes on my phone in no particular order, and I've also got like this notepad and I just scribble things down, but because they're in no particular order, I don't know where any of them are or how to access it, and I'm never going to read it.
I write down notes at uni knowing that I'll never go back and read that note. It's ridiculous. I joined the gym, spent 2 hours on the app booking 15 classes, got overwhelmed at my calendar, had a meltdown, didn't go to a single class.
Needed a wee, like really needed a wee, but just couldn't go. I kept finding things that needed to be said to my friend while simultaneously doing the wee-wee dance. You know the one, right? It took my friend shutting the door on me and yelling, "Go for a fucking pee," for me to actually, but not before I found my slippers to wear.
Of course. Sat in my towel for so long that I dried off and I couldn't tell whether I'd had a shower or not. So I had to have another one.
In the workplace. Started looking for a new job because I've been at my current one 23 days and I've already learnt it.
Well, it's boring now. The crying meltdown in the middle of the office and the apology tour afterwards is always a winner.
I love that.
I love that, the apology tour.
Forgot I was supposed to be working to make up some time off and instead watched a film about a woman working in the animation industry. The industry I work in.
You can't write this stuff. Oh, okay. Next one is ADHD tax. We all are guilty of paying taxes that we didn't need to pay. Okay, so this is an expensive one. I booked a train to go from Birmingham to Nottingham for a wedding last weekend. I thought I'd booked my train for the Saturday. Turned up at the station and tried to download my ticket. No ticket. Panic. I'd actually booked it for the day before. And there were rail strikes on Saturday, so no trains. Rang my boyfriend crying, all dressed up for the wedding, and we decided to get a taxi. He was already tipsy at this point. So I ended up paying £28 for the unused train ticket plus £116 for the taxi. But I really wanted to dance at the wedding, so it was totally worth it.
No, that sounds worth it. Totally worth it. Took the wrong car for an MOT like the twat I am. We have to say, you are not a twat.
You're not a twat. Easy mistake. I got an email to say I could get free tickets, except the admin costs of £10 per ticket, to see The Temptations, Four Tops and Odyssey. Sounds good. So I booked 3 and paid £30, thinking I could get 2 people to come with me, not realising the gig was the next day. Somehow I accidentally booked twice and ended up with 6 tickets and couldn't get anyone to come. Undeterred, I thought I'll go on my own. The time comes for the show to start. I couldn't get myself together to go, so 30 quid, ADHD tax and loads of guilt about the 6 empty seats in the O2 arena. Oh, we feel you on that one.
So, appointments. Went to a cardiac MRI appointment on time. In fact, 15 minutes early, as I proudly announced the secretary. Yes, a year early.
I have neck and back pain due to my anxiety, and to relieve this, I go to see a physiotherapist twice a week. Last Friday, I went to my session, and the physio was confused by my presence. I actually forgot to make the appointment. So super embarrassed.
My GP this week. Are you sure you have the right diagnosis? Surprised when I still haven't got the blood test she referred me for a year ago. Have you met a person with ADHD?
Ran to my appointment with my psychiatrist with my 3 kids in tow. Got asked why I was running, so I apologised for being late. Got told I was 24 minutes early. Had my first ADHD coaching session. After 10 minutes of waiting for a rather expensive appointment, I was quite angry and impulsively wrote the guy a message to illustrate my displeasure at his disrespectful and unprofessional waste of my time. To which he very politely and promptly wrote back to say he was looking forward to meeting me at our scheduled appointment that didn't start for another 20 minutes.
Oh, the shame!
But on the bright side, we had a good starting point to work from.
Oh, I love that one. Oh. Medication. Forgot to take those addictive meds 2 days in a row.
Wrote a reminder on my pad to put an alarm on my phone for my meds. Finally remembered to set the alarm after 3 days, and when the alarm went off, I snoozed it about 6 times, then switched it off, and still forgot to take my meds.
No. Forgot to take my ADHD meds twice this week. The hardest thing about being medicated for ADHD is overcoming the ADHD to remember the meds.
Yeah. Ran out of medication because I didn't put my prescription in on time. Spent 5 days without medication, where I proceeded to convince myself I did not have ADHD. Eventually back on medication and immediately felt calmer, more focused, less emotional. I do have ADHD. Why do I always think I don't have it when I'm off the meds?
So funny. So, mobile phones. Reading a magazine article on my phone, wanted to send a message and could not find my phone anywhere.
Done that so many times. So many times.
This next one is my favourite.
Yes, it's a good one. Used the flashlight on my phone to look for my phone in the dark. It's so good. So good.
Okay, RSD. Obsessing over getting Etsy reviews, thinking every order must have got lost or broken in the post. Then got lots of lovely reviews, but picked them apart and read into them. For example, they've said it's quirky and unique. That must mean they hate it, really, etc. And they're just too polite to tell me my work is shit. Oh, I really feel that one. I've been there a million times, especially like even just the posting it to people, convinced it's going to break in the post, or I've written the wrong address, or they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
The next one is diagnosis. Found out that I only returned half of my questionnaire for my ADHD assessment, where the receptionist got back to me with, funny you only completed 1 page and completely missed the other, almost diagnostic. I did the same.
Did you?
Remember, I got an email back from the clinic saying that I'd sent them page 1 twice.
Oh no!
Instead of page 1 and 2. But...
the least ADHD thing, but also the most for me this week, was getting my diagnosis.
Woo!
Yes, I love that. We've had a lot of those. There are lots, and we're really, really happy for everyone that is starting this new chapter with the support and, you know, answers and are out of limbo. But we also, again, appreciate there are lots that are still waiting. So you are the very reason why we continue to fight this battle.
Hell yeah. Okay, multitasking, which I think is funny because people like, you know, especially say females are great at multitasking. I've always been one of those people that's just like, I'm terrible at multitasking.
And this is why stereotypes are bullshit.
Exactly. So, nearly drove into the garage door because my husband said, look, the hawthorns are flowering. He couldn't understand why he also needed to insert stop the car beforehand.
Making dinner while hanging up washing and gluing tiles to the backsplash. None of these tasks were completed effectively. Dinner burned, wonky tiles, and super glue all over my fingers.
I walked the dog carrying a bag of garbage because I'd forgotten I was supposed to throw it away.
This just lives in my hand now. This is what I do.
I love it.
Got distracted looking at posters on a wall, fell over a curb and twisted my ankle.
Oh, walking and doing other things is hard.
Yeah.
Being crafty on 2 different projects, making dinner and hanging out the washing whilst feeding the dog. Disclaimer, I didn't complete all above tasks.
Every single morning, I make my daughter scrambled eggs. And every morning I have a, oh shit, the eggs moment, because I have the urge to multitask and start a new task in the few seconds it takes to heat up. And then I forget about them. But standing there, staring at eggs warming up just feels like a ridiculous waste of time. Completely.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely get that.
Yeah. It's just remembering it's toast.
But it's
I
so
do
funny
it with.
because eggs cook so quickly.
It's toast I do it with. I stand and watch my toast, get impatient, pop it up early,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, it's not ready. Pop it back down,
Yeah.
walk away, burn it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Started making a cup of coffee, commenced washing the dishes, went to the loo and decided I need to find a recipe for dinner tonight. Then I remembered I'd put a load of washing on. Put the clothes in, but was distracted by hungry animals, so fed them. Finished the dishes, made my coffee, sat down to drink it, and remembered I'd forgotten to put the laundry powder in the machine and turn it on.
Oh, there you go. The next one is adulting. I got my hair cut the other day and I had to keep stopping my leg from bouncing. Would have been a very wonky haircut. Hairdressers are the worst for me because I have to sit so still and I'm never still.
Yeah, trying to be an adult and be well behaved in these places is difficult sometimes. I had my whole family searching for my phone for about 20 minutes. I had left it in the fridge.
Yesterday, I forgot I was on my period and bled through everything twice and then got under the shower with my bra on and my t-shirt in my hand. Can't remember the rest of the week.
Set fire to some oven-baked pastries because I decided I could shower by the time they had cooked, but remembered when the smoke alarm came on. In the shower, I washed my hair with shower gel and my body with conditioner. Meltdown in docks because time blindness sent me into a spiral of self-loathing. Forgot to eat for a whole day, eating the insides of my face though.
Pretend to understand someone giving me directions and proceeded to thank them like they didn't lose me at the second turn right.
Oh my god, directions are the worst.
I didn't even bother asking.
Like write it down, give me an address so I can put it in a sat nav.
Landmarks.
Yeah. Oh, this is one of my own that's on here. Put sellotape in the fridge and called my mum on my calculator. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like all in the same day, I think.
It was. Came here just to say I picked up my lady shave this morning instead of my shower brush and very slightly shaved some of my head hair off when I went to brush it out. I realised quickly, thankfully.
That's not one you want to do every day, is it? I become very aware that I forget to breathe a lot. If I'm hyper-focusing, then chances are I'll stop breathing every few minutes. No wonder I'm tired. I'm starving myself of oxygen.
Oh my God, honestly, I used to do this when I was diving. So I literally, at 30 metres, forget how to fucking breathe.
Yeah, you don't want to do that,
terrifying. And I'd be like, no, come on. No, you can. Yes, you can. But I just forget how to do it.
Jeez, yeah, not the kind of place you want to forget how to breathe.
Started loading myself and the kids into someone else's car in the car park, not realising it wasn't mine.
Got halfway through eating a jacket potato before realising I was eating it with 2 forks. Meanwhile, someone on the table was looking for their fork.
Oh, I love this one. Tried to put my bra on as if they were pants.
Oh, these are good. Realised that I had left the house without shoes on, which is lucky because I returned to find I had left the front door wide open. Oh, so good.
Okay, carelessness. Left the stove top burner on. I do it every time, sometimes for hours. I try so hard to remember, but once my food is cooked, all memory is gone. I do a check and double check. So like I've got, you know, like you turn it off at the wall. And so like, even if I've forgotten to turn the knobs, as I take the food, I glance back over my shoulder and check that I've switched the switch off every time.
I'm a nightmare. I've left the hob on for days. And the oven, it's always, because I've got the kitchen living room, it's always, as soon as I sit down, the noise from the oven I can hear. But not until I sit down.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I joined your community and I didn't get any emails from the community. It turned out that I had taped Gamel instead of Gmail. It was an oh my god, I did it again moment.
Bless you. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Running late for work, I locked myself out of my house, rang the doorbell until my housemate opened the door, ran around looking for my keys. They were in my pocket.
I threw my underwear in the toilet instead of the basket.
Paid for KFC drive-through, but drove off without the food. Had to run back as the car in front had already driven forward. The lady at the window wasn't very understanding. Shame on you.
Yeah. Realised I lost my passport. Been a year since I could remember seeing it. Found it in the Christmas decorations box. Lost my keys, found them in the refrigerator.
If your passport doesn't belong in the Christmas decorations box, then I don't know where it does.
Ah, yeah.
Left my hotel key on the outside of the door and managed to lock myself in. Sorry. I had to climb over the balcony and run around the outside of the hotel and get back to the outside of the door where I found the key that I couldn't preciously find and unlock the door. Love it.
At least you had clothes. Like, you know, you hear about these stories where people are like getting locked out of their hotel room naked. This one made me laugh. I used room freshener as deodorant and I deeply regret it.
Asked my husband if he'd put my gym leggings in the dryer as they felt weird. Turns out I was wearing them back to front and also had 2 right-footed sports socks on too. Did a full gym sesh and wore the kit for about 4 hours whilst feeling funny.
There's nothing worse than like having that uncomfortable clothing feeling on, is there?
Yeah.
I put my kettle away in the fridge.
I went to give my son a biscuit and gave him a tea bag instead. This happened purely because the biscuit tin was not put back in the right place under the tea bag's tin, and I assumed it was the biscuits.
It'd be funny if we ate it. I put pizza in the oven with the cardboard still on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
When I was making Nigella's sexy cake, which I keep forgetting, I am actually going to put the recipe up. Oh, no, actually I did. I tagged it in the last episode. I put a link to the cake. So when I was making that, I was like trying to be really precise. There's a centimetre, cutting up the panettone. And then just so I was assembling it, realised the paper was still on the bottom of every single piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stopped the car in a driveway, got out and turned it off button. No idea why I did it in that order, but it turned out I also forgot the handbrake. Had to run and jump in to put the brake on as the car was going down the driveway, and it stopped in the middle of the road. Luckily, no one around. This is also not the first time I've done this, but last time the gate stopped the car.
Oh, oopsie. This is the problem with all these modern cars with stop and start buttons and whatnot. Just give me a key. Okay, so the next one we've called Oops, I Forgot. And there's quite a lot in this category, funnily enough.
Probably the biggest category.
Left my boot open and went and walked my dog.
Thinking all week about your leopard print army assemble and telling myself to get something with leopard print, not getting anything and not participating in the leopard print army assemble. So that was our ADHD AF day back in October. I believe it was October the 21st, to raise ADHD awareness. Thank you to everybody. That's a real highlight of our year, wasn't it? And obviously we made a promise that if things hadn't dramatically improved, we would have to physically assemble and march in protest next October.
So watch this space.
Watch this space.
Most ADHD thing I've done is try and think of it and my mind's gone blank.
Yeah.
We get so many of them, but we're the same every week when we record.
Yeah, it's literally us every week.
So I can't think what I've done.
I had a thing. Oh no, it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Got in my car, drove 5 minutes, went to clean the windscreen, then remembered I need to fill the water up, telling myself I'll do it as soon as I get home. Repeat daily.
Yeah, I'm like that with petrol.
Yeah.
I'm running out. I need to top up. In fact, my car's got the petrol lights flashing just now.
Yeah.
And it's about to be Christmas time and I've got driving around to do. I need to fill up the petrol before Christmas.
Okay. I'm the same with the eyebrow thing, my MAC eyebrow pencil.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to buy it and I keep forgetting. So every single day I use it and go, oh, I'm going to buy a new one of these. Never do it.
Literally burnt my ass sitting on a heating pad. I now have 2nd-degree burn. Talk about hyperfocus.
Oh, God. It's so bad though, isn't it? It's like I do it with the hyperfocus, desperate for a wee or desperate for a drink, but so hyperfocused that you just don't notice.
I'll find myself sitting like in my bed and I'll be up against like back of the bed, the headboard, and I'll be sat in a really awkward position and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I just don't move.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why is my neck sore for days on end? There you go.
Went to Sainsbury's, walked home with car keys in hand, wondering where my house keys were. They were in the car, which was at Sainsbury's.
Oh. Came in after walking my dog. 5 minutes later, I realised I'd left my dog outside.
Got to payment window at McDonald's drive-thru and realised I didn't have my purse or phone. Boo!
I started taking new supplements that I bought 6 months ago.
It's like us with the skincare products.
Yeah.
Just let it sit there. Went to the toilet, then brushed my teeth, and then went back to the toilet. Thought to myself, I think I've done this bit, when nothing happened after a while. I do that all the time.
Sitting on the toilet?
You know, I find myself in the bathroom and I'll be like, oh, I should go for a wee. And then sit down and be like, oh, I must have just been for one because I don't need one. You just basically forget that you've done it.
Going to the toilet is one of those things that, like, is boring to me. So if I hadn't done it or forgotten, I wouldn't go back and try. I'd just wait until I was like bursting or something again. Came home for a few hours. When I went to leave again, I locked my car key inside with the house key on it. Had to sit outside in 20 degrees Fahrenheit weather. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius, but
it's cold.
It's cold, isn't it? Yeah. With strong winds for 2.5 hours until my husband got home from work. Did I have my jacket on? Nope. Just thin, long sleeve.
Oh, no. Bought a big skeleton in a box today.
As you do.
And put it on the roof of the car just for a minute while I packed the rest of the shopping in. Made sure to note to not drive off with it on the roof. I drove off with it on the roof.
Keep bloody forgetting to join your Patreon.
Don't you worry, we'll keep reminding you. Thank you for your support. If you are finding this podcast helpful and you're in a position to do so, we are asking that you help us by signing up to our Patreon. In pledges starting at just £4 a month, it will give you access to our We Are ADHD AF community forum, in which we are both active members and we all support and learn from each other. You will also get access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusives, offers, blogs, vlogs, the works, everything in the kitchen sink. Your pledge will also mean that we will be able to continue to put out weekly episodes of ADHD as Females, the podcast.
Alternatively, if you would prefer just to make a donation, you can do so by visiting buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as Females. We know that our words are helping people in 164 countries and counting.
We really appreciate your support in supporting us to continue supporting the ADHD community.
If you are ADHD AF and you want more ADHD AF, join the We Are ADHD AF community. www.patreon.com/ADHD as Females.
I'm a photographer and had a shoot yesterday. I left my camera on the roof of my car and it survived the hour-long drive. Oh, thank God.
Texted my family I was on the way home and I'd get lunch. Bumped into a friend and chatted for a few hours. Totally forgot about lunch and my family.
Object impermanence can stretch to people as well, people.
Yeah.
Unlocked my car, putting the key in the lock, got in and was convinced that I'd lost my keys. I couldn't remember where they were and was starting to panic.
I shaved one side of my crotch, shampooed my hair, and then forgot to finish up down there. Hashtag this is why I'm single.
Had a can of Pepsi explode in the car. 3 packs of 24 were still in the car after a few days. It was really cold this week. Made a bit of a slushy mess.
Yeah, don't leave your fizzy juices in the car on...
Juices.
It's such a weird thing that we call, like, all
it's so
liquids.
weird.
All liquids that are, like, of a fruit flavour or juice.
But Pepsi isn't fruit flavoured.
Yeah, it's still a juice.
Yeah, but it's mental, isn't it? Because it'd just be juice of a fruit.
Yeah, I know. It makes no sense, but yeah, it's what we do. Is that an up here thing?
Yeah, it's only a
is
Scottish
it?
thing. Yeah, it's a Scottish thing.
That's funny.
Yeah. I went to a shop, put the baby keys and purse in the trolley, did my shopping, paid, packed the baby and all my stuff in the car, turned on my car to finish listening to your podcast episode and it suddenly disconnected. Looked everywhere for my phone and then realised I'd left it in the trolley, a trolley that someone else was now pushing around the shop. I then had to take my baby back into the shop and peer into everyone else's trolley until I found a sweet old lady pushing her shopping and my phone around. I had to then explain I'm very sorry, but she had my phone in her trolley. I think she thought I was a total loon.
Went upstairs to get my phone charger, had a wee instead. Came back down. Oh, phone's going to die. Charger, yes, upstairs to get it. Get my slippers instead. Back downstairs. Made tea, got comfy. Fucking phone's going to bloody die. Phone charger. Go upstairs, can't remember what for. Come halfway down, charger. Physically repeat, charger, like a loony as I walk upstairs until it's in my hand.
I swear, story of my life.
I have to do that sometimes where I just have to say the thing that I need to do in case I forget.
So this segment is called ADHD AF Rabbit Hole, which is a brand new segment we are going to be putting onto the podcast into the new year, in which we look at our ADHD AF Rabbit Hole of the week, effectively what ridiculous thing we've hyper-focused and dived into a hole of this week. Last night, I was watching the Queen's Grandchildren's Vigil on TV and Googled Prince Edward to find out a bit of info and ended up 5.5 hours later, I was still on there studying the history of the royal family.
That is a rabbit hole and a half.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be doing some important work and then spent hours going down various Google rabbit holes, including finding out that I'm the same age as Stifler's mum was in American Pie, and then being left with that little thought and no knowing what to do with myself.
What do I do with this information? And what does it even mean? Listen to 14 of your podcasts since Saturday.
That's 14 hours.
Like, how could you bear it? How? Thank you, but how?
Wow.
Plus 1 ADHD adult podcast. Done 4 ADHD quizzes and read lots of articles and written a list of my ADHD symptoms, which is more than 4 A4 sheets long, and sent 500 texts to my undiagnosed ADHD friend as we are making all these discoveries together down the rabbit hole. I'm 44 and suddenly realised that my entire life makes sense. And yes, I do have the glorious ADHD thing of being youthful. Love that.
Listen to 5 episodes straight of your podcast.
What the hell?
I know. Whilst colouring, which I suddenly decided to start after owning a colouring book and pens for years. It's now 2 a.m. and I'll be woken by my 7-month-old baby in approximately 4 hours.
Oh, God. Saw a ferret, held the ferret. 24 hours later, still thinking about the ferret. Research ferrets and would like a ferret.
I'm almost tempted to call this the ADHD AF ferret hole.
Yeah, I like that.
Same album on repeat for the whole week.
It's literally like you are sucking the dopamine out of it. And again and again and again. And it's like, I do it sometimes where you're just like genuinely gutted that the song is over.
I can do it with single songs on repeat.
Yeah.
I think I drove out to Huntly one day and listened to the same song on repeat for the whole car journey.
Do you remember what song it was?
Yeah, it's by the oh no, I can't remember what song it is. I know what it is. I just heard it for the first time and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm going to find
it's
it.
like a feeding frenzy.
It's by a band called Unknown Mortal Orchestra and the song is called That Life. And it was just the beat, just everything about it just made me feel so good.
Yeah.
It's on my dopamine playlist.
Oh, good. Yes. If you haven't heard them already, you can tap the link in our bio to access our own Spotify playlist. One is Dawn's Dopamine Boosters, and mine is called Laura's Ibiza Daydreams, which is basically just me stomping around wherever it is I need to go because I can't drive, pretending that I'm in Ibiza.
Sounds like a good time in your head.
Knit a hat in a night while watching 5 episodes of Heartbreak High.
Oh, what a program.
That sounds like a party to
Yeah.
me. 1 a.m. bedtime now, struggling at work. Had to call a colleague to help me on a task while filling out a form this morning. Oh dear.
That's what happens. Yesterday, my 5-minute break turned to nearly an hour because I got fixated on Sudoku. Now having to work on the weekend to make up for lost time. I'm not diagnosed, but this feels very much like ADHD.
Yes,
it certainly
indeed.
does.
So this next section is from our lovely patrons on our community Discord channel. So as ever, we are so incredibly grateful to everybody who has signed up to our community, because you are literally funding the podcast and you're keeping us going.
Yeah.
And we really couldn't do it without you, and we could do with some more help. So if you are able, it's really worth signing up, not just to keep us going, but also because we really are working very hard on it and we're achieving some really amazing things, aren't we? We've got like this really supportive, safe space, and we chat every day. We have
behind the scenes,
but we have lovely catch-ups with people. We do our live body doubling over Zoom. We do Q&As. We're really getting to know our community and supporting each other and just learning. Yeah, like everyone's different perspective. We've got people from New Zealand, America, Australia, all over the UK, Ireland.
Yeah, it's just so lovely bringing everyone together, and we're all,
in the same boat, more or less.
Yeah, we're all on the same team.
Everyone just gets it. Mm-hmm. And we're all there to support each other, and it's incredible.
Yeah, so we asked our patrons what some of the most ADHD things they have done. Yeah, these are those.
Yeah.
So joined an expensive 75-day diet/exercise plan, did 30 days before forgetting about it, joined for a second 75 days, managed 1 day the second time round.
Oh, God. I love this one. Bought a cello. Used it for 3 weeks and haven't touched it for 4 months. Always wanted to learn to play the cello and decided to go for it after watching a TikTok. At least it was only 300 and I will likely pick it up again next year. Oh.
Yeah, I feel that. Hobbies. The other week, I boiled a pan of water and left it for an hour boiling. When I eventually remembered, it had boiled dry.
Rushing to get stuff packed for both my kids' swimming lessons and then me going for a run after. Meeting other half there as he'd been out training early. Packed everything in the car. Get there just about on time. Left one of the bags in the car. Thought I'd left it at home. Had to spend £16 on a pair of trunks for my son. Throw him at my other half so I could rush back home to get the rest of our stuff before my daughter's lesson. And the bag with the trunks, et al., were in the car. Standard me.
Oopsie. My most ADHD thing this month was discovering that the HMRC letters I'd been ignoring were to remind me to pay my tax bill from July. I was really shocked because I actually did remember really clearly transferring the money over to my account specifically to pay this bill. Had a good old rant to my husband. How could they not have noticed I'd paid this? What am I supposed to do now? Pay it twice? Then I checked my bank account and discovered that although I had transferred the money over to my current account to pay them, I never actually got round to paying them, and subsequently spent all of that money on other random things. My poor long-suffering husband had to bail me out.
Oh, honestly, totally feel that one. Coming within literally hours of having my car insurance cancelled because I didn't get round to opening any of the multiple letters the insurer had sent me to ask for information and the date they were going to cancel it if I didn't get in touch by midnight that day. The nick of time will do nicely and all that, but I bawled my eyes out over it. I also ordered a pair of earrings as a Christmas present for my son's girlfriend, admiring them when they arrived and then immediately losing them. I have literally no idea where they are. I've probably thrown them away with all the junk mail and now I've got nothing to give her. I think there's going to be a lot of that this Christmas.
Yeah.
A lot.
I remember when I was doing my wee craft business that I'd packed something up and it was ready to post and I couldn't find it anywhere. And still to this day, I've no idea whether I posted it.
Oh, God.
Or what happened to it. Like
It just vanished.
It just vanished. And so I had to go and make them a whole brand new one and send it again. So they maybe got 2 of them. But yeah, who knows? Trying for 5.5 hours to verify my email address on a period tracking app after them repeatedly sending an email with a link that expires in 10 minutes. Fuck my life. Literally just yelled, "Not again!" And I've just sat here staring at my phone, refreshing my emails until I watched it come through so I could click the link.
Honestly, my most hated thing is like signing into things and passwords.
Yeah.
And like, then it's like, verify this. Like, you know, click every box that has grapes, and then we'll send you another link, and then we'll send you another by carrier pigeon, and another to your inbox. What is your mother's maiden name? Give us your blood. And I'm just there like, for fuck's sake, I don't even care this much. I'm just going to give up. But and you just go in a loop, round and round and round. You can't get into your own fucking stupid account for something you don't even need. Crazy.
Yeah. It's horrible because you know it's for safety and it's to protect you, but it's like, fuck me.
I used to be a flight attendant and once did a layover, I think in like East Asia somewhere, landed, got to the hotel, opened my suitcase, had only packed tops and no bottoms.
So what, you've just got to walk around in your casual clothes with your flight attendant skirt on?
Yeah.
So I ordered some DIY supplies to click and collect. I was really pleased with myself for getting all the correct items in my basket and completing the transaction successfully without forgetting to pay for the items like I usually do. It was only when the order confirmation came through that I realised I had sent the order to the store's Cardiff branch, 130 miles away.
Oh dear. I had to cancel a craft market because I thought it would be very quiet, then book a different craft fair, which I thought would be busier. Last Saturday before Christmas, so trying to make the most of it. Got an Uber with all my stuff, turned up at the market, took one look and saw it was so quiet and cold and not at all advertised that I got back in the taxi and headed to the original market. I'd cancelled to see if there were any spaces. Luckily there were, and I managed to make all my taxi fare back. Luckily my taxi driver was very patient whilst I sat in the back saying, I don't know what to do. Oh.
Stick with your guns. Totally forget to attend a training session that I acknowledged I had the day before. Said training session was mandatory to start my nursing placements for university in January, so I'm now missing 8 weeks of placement.
Oh, no.
Oh.
So today I drove all the way to work, half an hour, to get there and realised I didn't have my pass to even get in. I was like, well, where is it? As I don't take it out of my bag unless I'm at work. Rang my partner to see if he can see it, and he found it in my handbag, which I must have put it in yesterday, a bag I never take to work.
I work in an office job and I take my medication twice a day, 8 a.m. and then 1 p.m. I quite often take my afternoon dose late because although I have a medication reminder on my phone and watch, I seem to get distracted with my work. Today, I was really into some work-related task and I looked down and see my medication container open on my desk. I couldn't remember if I'd taken it or not, so I decided to have one anyway, an hour late. Let's just say I was wired for the afternoon and most likely took double.
See, that scares me.
Yeah.
I'm so scared of it. Double dropping your meds doesn't sound like a good plan.
Downloaded an app and I'm making sure. Obviously, at the moment, it's a hyper focus, but hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, a habit that will stick. Well, the thing is, it's so good that you've started, and we will do a full episode about Dawn's titration experience in the new year.
Absolutely.
My most ADHD thing is rewashing the same clothes 3 times. I keep forgetting to take them out to dry. For some reason, I always really struggle with the clothes wash.
I hear you. Today, I went to the grocery store because I really needed butter. I told my husband to give me more things to get since I didn't want to go to the store just for butter. I got the things from the list he sent. I got a bunch of random purchases, including random cookies, ice creams, mini corn dogs, etc. Then I came home. Guess what I didn't get? The freaking butter.
Yep. I was having a night with my boyfriend, movies and eating sweets. One thing led to another, and in the middle, reaching for a sweet from the bowl and wondering why he was so annoyed with me. Oh, bless.
Oh,
dear.
she wasn't getting enough candy. She had to get
Not
some
sweet
more.
enough.
Oh, that's super. We had a good giggle at that one. So good. And this brings us on to the festive related ADHD
The
moments.
penultimate.
Yeah, so I told my boss that I have ADHD after 4 months of being nervous about it. He was very supportive about it and he said his best friend also had ADHD. Then on Thursday I went a bit far with a prank. I was asked to sign Christmas cards for our clients who have no idea who I am. So I signed about 20 cards in different names. It would have been okay if I just signed them as Phil or Jeff, except I used a different prank name like Mike Hunt and Cliff Richard. One boss didn't care. The other one was rather pissed off. Yeah.
Thought a Christmas Sunday out in London would be a good idea, only to get home late and have to get 3 kids to school with no preparation the next day. It's funny because it's a bit like, do you know what that makes me think of is when we were talking about periods the other day and how you should know that it's coming up because it happens all the time. But it's like the first time every time. And that sounds exactly like that. Like, you know, every Monday that you do it, but for some reason it just skipped your mind.
Yeah.
Bless.
I know I've ordered Christmas presents online, but I have zero memory of what on earth I actually bought earlier in the week.
A couple of weeks ago, I completely forgot about my work Christmas meal and had to get ready in 10 minutes.
Ah, the last minute getting ready. Mascara all over your face. Eyeliner flicks go in different directions.
That's just my daily life. That's another one. I've been doing that for 20 years and I still can't figure out how to do it every single day. It's like the first time.
They're sisters, not twins.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I found a receipt for a gift from my dad that I'd completely forgotten about. In seeing the receipt, I can vaguely remember buying it, but I have no idea if I gave it or not, or where I hid it.
Started wrapping Christmas presents in my daughter's room because it was the only room with enough uncluttered floor space. Got distracted and moved on to something else. Didn't put all of the unwrapped presents away. You can probably guess what happened next. So now I have to buy a few more presents that my daughter hasn't seen already.
Oopsie.
Okay, so this one...
So this one is one of our favourites. There's obviously... There's some great content that you all sent in.
And you shouldn't have favourites, and we don't. And we apologise to everybody whose we didn't read, because we obviously get quite a lot of similar.
Yeah.
So we picked, ones to cover all angles. But one particular listener has absolutely excelled herself.
She's sent quite a few to us.
And had us in stitches.
Yeah.
So,
and they kind of go in a bit of an order as well, which makes it even funnier.
So this is... our most ADHD AF listener of the year.
Here we go. Messaged my horrible ex for a quick dopamine release. Once received, I realised I can't stand him. And the ADHDers are attracted to narcissists for that very reason. Hated myself, got drunk, told my ex-husband I still love him, been divorced 12 years and still good mates, not the narc. Then decided to sit and have a hyper-focused session of work, even though I was in the pub. Followed by intense self-loathing and wondering if my meds are still working. Then I realised I'd forgotten to take them for 3 days. The ADHD antics continue.
I'm really happy that I get to read this one out because it's my favourite one. Work 20 hours a day Monday to Thursday. Decided I hate my job Friday. Loved it again Saturday. 3 new clients today. ADHD version of a Craig David song.
Work 20 hours on Monday. I love it. Got back with my ex-husband of 12 years, lol, and done the moonwalk around Bradford Royal Infirmary.
We love you. Barely eaten, got loads of work done, fallen in love and out of love with my ex-husband a million times and changed the colour of my hair.
So good.
So good. Thank you all so much for sending those in. Like we said, our most ADHD things segment is a shame eradicator to make us all feel the camaraderie, remembering that we're not alone in our struggles. And if you don't laugh, you'd cry. So let's all laugh together.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to share what our most ADHD thing is of this year. And it's a corker, isn't it?
It's a good one, yeah.
So basically, back in August, I put on an event with the help of a neighbour and the organisation that she runs called Open Road Limited at the Fitty Community Hall. So the village that we live in, I put on an event there called the Fabulous Fitty Fashion Fest, which was celebrating local creatives, about female empowerment, and boycotting fast fashion, raising awareness about ADHD, and funds for the ADHD Adults Charity. Now, we decided it would be really fun to do a local giveaway, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we put out this giveaway for anybody in Aberdeen or close enough that would like to come down, and we would interview them live on the podcast at the event. And then
we were supposed to edit it and get this out and on an episode. It was going to be a bonus episode.
Yeah.
And it's the last episode of the year. And we kind of forgot to do it.
So at least we remembered in the end.
We did, yeah.
But it's so funny. So we're so sorry, Jenna, that it's taken us this long to put your episode out. There are so many reasons, but the main one being that we both find as ADHDers, if you don't action something immediately, then you forget. And we were up against some roadblocks, weren't we?
Yeah. It's that whole task paralysis thing. It's like not being able to make a decision. So like there was some background noise and
There's a lot of background noise because I was banging out house music and didn't think to turn it down and didn't know that it was going to pick up quite so much. We shut ourselves in the kitchen.
Yeah, we were shut in a room.
It's
but
really loud.
But yeah, there's a lot of background noise, and my editing skills aren't that great that I know how to eradicate all this noise. So, yeah, a few different little things that had just been putting us off. At
the time we were like, should we do this or should we do this? Or what should we do? Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, because we didn't action it straight away, we just forgot.
Yeah.
But we've remembered now. So Jenna, a wonderful competition winner in Aberdeen, not putting that out is the most ADHD thing we've done this year.
Yeah.
So in celebration, here's
Here
the
it is.
episode.
The podcast.
We are live.
We are ready to go.
Yes.
So, wonderful competition winner. Please will you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jenna. I am 35. I'm a mum of 2 and I was diagnosed with ADHD back in 2021. I was diagnosed with PMDD first.
Did you say PMDD? Yeah.
And then actually going to my GP and saying, you know what, I think there's actually something a bit more here. He was initially a bit taken aback. He did the old whole, I don't think you can get ADHD as an adult. And I was like, well, can you maybe just do something and try?
Oh, wow.
And so he says, I'll put you on the list. And
Reluctantly.
yeah, and same idea as Dawn. I was at university and decided to go down that route, and that was the big help for me, the big opening of the doors. And they were the ones that pushed me.
And did you get a lot of help from the uni?
Oh, an amazing amount of help. The psychologist report was just so detailed that when I sent it to my GP, he was like, okay, I think I'm going to forward this straight away to the psychiatrist.
Good.
And when he did, it kind of fast-tracked everything.
But it's ridiculous that the universities are doing more than our doctors,
Absolutely,
you know?
100%. And since then, the support they put in place has just been phenomenal.
Oh, that's great.
As a mature student, it's difficult enough as it is.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I think to have that extra bit of support from them has just been, it's been really good. So it's University of Aberdeen. I know that you're...
I'm RGU, yeah.
RGU. So,
but it's good to know that both unis are, really pushing to help students.
They're on it, they are, and they've got so many facilities such as counselling and things like that you can access, which weirdly enough when I got diagnosed and I went down the medication route, they denied me access to counselling as well, so it was a case of
one or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Workplaces need to be doing these things as well, taking initiative and helping people out. The universities are setting a good example.
They are.
So, how did you come to suspect you had ADHD?
Kind of always known. I've had a lot of mental health issues over the years, but I never felt like any of the labels fit. You get told you've got anxiety, you've got told you've got depression. I was thinking, I don't really feel like somebody that's depressed.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like somebody that's got anxiety all the time. I have things that make me anxious and parts of my life that I do get down with, but the whole encompassing diagnosis didn't work for me, and they threw pills at me. You get the sertraline, you get the fluoxetine, and nothing worked. It just dulled every emotion I had, and it just didn't fit. And it was actually during lockdown, everything got to a bit of a height. Yeah.
And have your family been kind of accepting and supporting if they could see it, or has it been alright?
Do you know what? I think it's been a bit of a bombshell on everyone. They've been accepting, but I think it's opened up a lot of. Oh, hold on a second. I think I have ADHD.
Of course.
I have
genetics.
Now reeling from this one ADHD diagnosis. My daughter is 10 and I'm watching her and I'm watching her struggle.
Yeah.
She's so like me, and yet the school is oblivious, and so I'm really trying to push for her to get the help that I didn't.
Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, it's quite an interesting one because, you know, neither of us are raising families of our own. Like, is there anything that you want to say about motherhood? We get a lot of people ask us about ADHD and motherhood,
Yeah.
and we just have nothing that we can contribute to that. So,
Well, how long have we got? Yeah, it's a very difficult one because I read that article you shared about PMDD and postpartum, and definitely after my son, that's when the PMDD symptoms started to come apart for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I was a teenage mom.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, really tough. Oh gosh, of course.
Yeah, so I was a teenage mom and I've got a 15-year-old son, a 10-year-old daughter, and you know, I see the challenge she goes through also living with two people, whereas when she's so hyperactive,
Yeah.
I'm less on the hyperactive scale and more on the inattentive, although I do have combined type.
Yes.
It's really difficult sometimes to offset that balance because she's just on all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to reel for my own day and trying to compartmentalise bits of my day while she just wants
Yes.
everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the things that she focuses on are not necessarily things I would, so it's
Yeah.
that kind of where do you find that balance and that
Yeah.
interest, whereas my son is just so easygoing and it's just such a difference of personality.
Yeah.
And trying to get that together.
So what do you think undiagnosed ADHD has cost you? Because, sorry, what age were you? Do you mind me saying? When you got diagnosed, sorry.
I was 34. but-
34. So, having not known that you had ADHD before that point, or before diagnosis anyway, what do you think that has cost you?
Well, it definitely cost me my kind of youth as such because I had a child young.
Yeah.
I take it you didn't plan to have a child at that age then? No.
But it was the best thing that happened to me was actually having that responsibility and the routine through him. I
Yeah.
think, I don't know about you, but having the routine as an ADHD person, we actually really need a bit of routine in our lives.
Yeah.
And having that forced routine of you have to be on, you have to do this and
Yeah.
something else was actually one of the best things for me.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways. But yeah, it costs you a lot. It's the ADHD tax on everything
Yeah.
you do in your life, whether it's
Yeah.
finances, relationships, your health,
So what do you think's changed for you since diagnosis?
self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-awareness. I've always been quite a self-aware person, but I'm now able to take myself almost like I don't want to say an outer body experience.
Yeah.
You stand up, you look at yourself, you reassess all these situations that have been in your life, and you sit back and you actually, maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself because that wasn't, I hate saying it wasn't me, but it was the ADHD.
Yeah.
Yes. So you think the self-awareness and the diagnosis has also given you more compassion?
Oh, 100%.
For yourself,
a
yes.
lot more compassion
Yes.
for myself. But there's just so much things with ADHD that you just wish you could shout to the world, but there's still that taboo and that ignorance.
Yeah.
And so, as I was saying to Dawn earlier, like I haven't actually come out with my ADHD and told very many people about it.
Right.
I told maybe 10 people.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's quite a big thing for me.
until now.
Yeah, well, thank
now.
you for doing
I
it.
feel it's
It's your coming out ceremony.
you know?
I know.
What I am.
Your beautiful
like
singing
that,
voice.
My chipmunk singing voice.
I do think we all need to be more brave to actually admit it. But you come across people that are still this generation, and I hate being like that and saying that, but there is still this generation of people that don't believe ADHD, autism, any kind of spectrum disorder is a real thing. They
Yeah.
don't believe in neurodivergence.
Yeah.
And I just kind of.
Unless they can see it physically,
Yeah.
they can't get their heads around it. I think a lot of, there is still a lot of stigma, but this is exactly why we're doing this and raising awareness so that we can beat that stigma.
Yes.
Wants to. You
Yeah.
know, I look at my little girl and I just hope that she hasn't got to have the same struggles
Yeah.
growing up as what we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even now, I come against walls with her. You know, she's got we are going through a kind of process to get her diagnosis. So she's got anxiety. And I'm like, but why is a 10-year-old that's in a stable home that's got good friends, good everything else? Why if that child got anxiety?
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. So, where would you say you are on the late diagnosis roller coaster?
So where do you feel you are?
That's a difficult one because I did actually think about this the other day and how much has changed in the last year. Like I've definitely said I was definitely the anger and then the sadness and everything else, but now I'm actually coming to the whole kind of acceptance part and I'm thinking, you know what, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
it's got to be. I've got to try and make this some form of positive in my life rather than negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to the podcast obviously, and when we talk about superpowers, I don't believe in that myself.
No, neither do we.
I think I'm a bit ADHD, and
Yeah.
you've got to have. There's a spectrum, and everybody
Yeah.
goes through different parts of it. If it really makes you struggle in your life, then something has to change. And
Yeah.
I think that the more, for me, as I'm once trained to be a teacher, now my focus is to try and make sure that if I run a classroom, that it's an inclusive classroom, that we're not sitting on chairs all the time, we're not sitting just reading text, we're going to get up, we're going to listen to podcasts, we're going to listen to music, because I just think we've got to start it when they're young.
Yeah.
We've got to kind of
You need
mold them into...
to be inclusive, yeah.
Not actually
That's
mold
great.
them, that's the worst thing actually. You've got to kind of break the mold and just go, you
Yeah.
know what, let's throw everything out of the window and start again.
Yeah.
Let them be who they're going to be.
Superb.
Yeah, definitely.
If you could implement change to the diagnosis process, what would that be?
I would actually have GPs educated. I'd have them made to go and do courses on mental health because I think that they're your gateway to diagnosis. I mean, it doesn't matter what process you go down, whether it's they're your gateway.
Yeah, they're the first step. Yeah, exactly.
They're often in denial.
Yeah.
You know, my GP since he's been so lovely, but I do think that if they knew from the start, they wouldn't be prescribing people so many antidepressants.
Yeah.
Things that are actually wasting the NHS money and destroying people's lives and a lot of other things.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Okay, so tell us some positives, if there are any.
I know, it sounded like it was like a real negative.
No, we agree with you.
Diagnosis.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page as you.
There is a lot of positives, you know. There are a lot of negatives. Don't get me wrong. I'd say there's it's not an even balance, but the whole energy you have sometimes for ADHD, I can think out of the box. And one of the things I think a lot of people are is linear. And I think with ADHD we're not linear.
No.
So we've come up with a solution.
Yeah.
People will think about 10 steps down the road, whereas they're like, pick that bit from there, pick that bit from there.
Yes.
And that's a skill I think that is underrated.
Definitely.
And I love the fact that we have that kind of ability to be a bit more creative and passionate. I genuinely think, I don't know, I read a lot about ADHD and highly sensitive personalities. So obviously we've got the RSD, highly sensitive personalities, and I think that makes a lot of people with ADHD a lot more empathetic towards everybody in the world, and it makes us a lot more angry about things in the world and passionate about things in the world. So you know, we're that type of forces to be reckoned with.
Definitely.
And for me, that's a positive with ADHD.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Because we're often like the neggy Noras, aren't we?
Yeah.
That don't see the positives, but that's another really good one.
It is,
We've had
it's
a couple
great.
lately.
I do look at people differently now. I mean, I'm pretty much trying to, I'm like, if someone's having a problem, I'm like, maybe they've got ADHD. That's my first go-to. But you never know. So like because you think that, you do change the way you talk to people, because you're like, well, actually, if they do, then I shouldn't just judge them off the bat because they might have ADHD.
Yeah.
I think in general that most people I've met with ADHD are generally less judgmental as people.
Yes,
like
it's
this.
so true.
And it couldn't be it's maybe not the ADHD as a thing, as a personality trait, but I tend to find that people that have been through a lot in their lives are more welcoming to everybody.
Yeah, it's so true.
So the last thing we want to ask before you go is, what is the most ADHD thing you have done this week?
I had a feeling I was going to be asked this. So I actually asked my husband, I was like, what do you think is ADHD thing? I was like, wow, where do we start?
Where do we start? Yeah.
Last week, the week before, I managed to smash our windscreen because I decided one Sunday morning that I was going to go and steal a rose bush that was in my in-laws' next door neighbour's garden.
Is this going to get you in trouble?
No. Listen, Well, I hope not.
The next door neighbours.
Garden.
And then next door neighbours.
They've been dead for like about 12 years. This rose bush has been like tempting me forever and ever and ever. And it's been in this pot and it's been growing. And I was like, right, today's the day. I'm going to go and get this.
You stole a rose bush from your dead neighbour.
Yeah, not my dead neighbour.
From your in-laws. You stole a rose bush from your in-laws' dead neighbour.
But that's not even.
I mean, that sounds pretty ADHD in itself.
Well, it was, because I actually had to like get my father-in-law to lift me over fences. And so I got that in the car and I spotted this like wooden washing line, which I mean he can make for £2. It's like, you know, trying to get him to do anything. My husband, this is like the next day impossible. It's like, I'm just going to take the washing line as well. So it's like, yeah, ideal, I'm needing one. Put it in the car, shut the boot, and didn't anticipate the whole length of the washing pole was through my, and it just went through my screen. My husband says it's the most expensive rose bush.
Oh no!
I thought I was getting some like fabulous but it's cost
Oh dear.
Oh, super.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, bless you.
Oh, well, it's been fantastic. It's been so lovely meeting you and having you on our first live podcast.
Yeah.
That's quite crazy.
I know. And I've decided, just for the record, I decided to do this whole podcast crouched down in the corner of this kitchen.
Yeah, I did think
and
that was a bad
my feet
idea.
are absolutely killing.
I thought you really pronunciated the F of feet then, and I really thought you were going to say fanny.
No. My fanny is not sore. It's just my feet. But yeah.
On that note.
Well, thank you. And on that note,
I'm sure.
on that note, let's get back to the Prosecco.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
The podcast.
And that was Jenna.
And that was lovely, Jenna. Our wonderful competition winner at the event, which was so fun. It feels like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it, August?
Yeah. It really does. Really
We're
does.
so glad that we managed to get this out this year. And we're just so grateful to all of you for your support this year. This year is not ending for us how it started. And
Not
that
even
is really
close.
down.
Not
it's
even
really down
close.
to you guys. So we are so grateful. We hope that you're having a wonderful festive period, and we hope that you have a lovely New Year's Eve if you're somebody that wants to celebrate New Year's Eve. Some people do. Some people don't. And if you are somebody that might have overindulged over Christmas and you don't perhaps want to celebrate in terms of getting boozy, you can listen to one of our previous episodes with Siobhan, Not So Secretly Sober.
Yeah.
If anyone's doing dry January, that could be a really helpful episode as well. For those of you that are going to go out, have it.
Yeah.
But take care of yourselves and have a lovely old time. And we wish for great change in the ADHD diagnostic process in the new year in 2023. And if not, we'll see you at that March dress head to toe in leopard print on the 21st of October.
Yeah.
Right?
And as of next year, I'm not working in the restaurant.
Yeah.
We're giving it a go. We're going to give it a go.
We don't really have enough money to do it, but we're just going to go balls to the wall. Is that a thing?
I don't have any of those, but yeah.
we're just going to go for it. And
Fanny to the fence.
Fanny to the fence. We're going to dive in, fanny first, and we're going to try really, really hard to hopefully bring in enough money through different ways of, we're going to explore different avenues to promote the podcast further and hope that we can get some more financial support so that we can continue putting out the weekly podcast episodes. So thank you to everyone who supported us already.
Thank you so much.
And we're just going to gamble. We're all in.
Yeah, we're going all in
Yeah.
and looking forward to 2023 and the next stage of this exciting
Our 40th year.
journey. I said the
Starting
word.
our 40th year.
Yeah, with a bang. Life
With a
begins at
bang.
40, right?
Life begins at 40. And
Well, sorry. I was just going to say we're going to recap on Laura and her full year of being diagnosed
Yep.
and starting meds and that whole process. And,
Yes.
And we'll talk about my journey that's very, very new into starting the medication as well.
Yes,
and
indeed.
yeah, we're excited to see where this goes.
And, shall I say it?
And go on then. Say
We're
it.
going on tour.
We are.
And we've said it now, so we have to. So
Well, that's it.
It's happening now.
You've done it. So yeah, we've got a tour planned for springtime, summer.
We've got one event that we're going to put on in Aberdeen in March.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a tour starting from the very end of April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got.
So once I broke up for uni, yeah, we're gonna come to Hopefully.
Sitting near
Sitting near you.
But
Yeah.
it's going to be like, it's not going to be very educational, just like a podcast. It's basically going to be what we are. It's going to be a bit daft and a bit camp and really fun. And there's probably going to be some tears and there'll be music and laughter. And we just can't wait to connect with our listeners and followers to say thank you and meet you in person. And I really just hope you wear leopard print.
Yeah. It's going to be a leopard print extravaganza.
Yes, exactly. And we may even get to Australia.
Wow.
We may. This is dreaming big, but it's the end of the year. Dream big, right?
Absolutely.
I go hard, I go home. That's it, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, big things coming next year. Just thank you for giving us the self-belief and for supporting our platform and our message, because you've changed our lives.
You really have.
Yeah. So
Happy New Year,
everybody. I'm crying. Happy New Year, bye.
Happy New Year.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF, ADHD as females, the podcast.